Hey, welcome to the Northeast Hunt and Film podcast. I'm your host, Jason Alex. Here you'll find hunting stories and strategies based mainly out of the Northeast, but will also include hunts from all around the country. If you can hunt it and you can film it, chances are we're going to talk about it on here. Enjoy. Welcome, everybody. Another episode of Northeast Hunt and Film. Joined on this episode with Stephen Schanz from Schanz's Guide Service, Big Woods Bucks team member. We talk about what it's like being a Maine guide. We get into some moose hunts, some bear hunts, turkey hunting. We talk about the film I did that's on the Big Woods Bucks channel, Luck of the Draw, where his father waited for 40 years for his own Maine moose permit and shot a Boone and Crockett bull on the second to last day. We talk about Stephen's bull he shot when he was 13. We talk about Stephen's buck he shot this past year. And at the end, we get into how it's important if you do get drawn for this Maine moose lottery, since it's such a once in a lifetime thing, or can be. If you don't know what you're doing, seriously consider hiring a guide, because, like I said, it might be once in a lifetime. The Luck of the Draw film, I'll put the link in the description below. You can click on that, go over and watch that. It's kind of a longer one, so you can treat it more like a movie. Sit down with your spouse or your kids or whatever and check that out. I'll keep this short and sweet because this is kind of a longer podcast, but I just put up new video on the channel. Me shooting that HHA site that Neil helped me set up. I shot it out to 100 yards, but we were having clearance issues with the housing. My vanes were hitting the housing, but check that out. Give it a thumbs up. And still got t-shirts and stickers and stuff available on the website. I'll leave links to those below also. And this is kind of coming out abnormally. Should be on schedule, would be Monday, but I'm releasing it early. You guys go check out his buck from last year's over on the Big Woods Bucks channel too. I'll leave a link for that below also, but kind of promoting that video. It's cool little video. I really liked it, but releasing this one kind of early, but should have a bunch of turkey hunting content coming your way. So April might be jam-packed with podcasts, so we'll see how many I can get done and try to keep cranking them out for you. Thanks everybody for the support, and let's hear from Stephen Schanz. All right, we're live. Another episode of Northeast Hunt and Film. Joined tonight with Stephen Schanz, Big Woods Bucks team member, for the first ever phone podcast. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I like this whole phone thing. It's a lot more convenient than me driving all the way down from Maine to New Hampshire.
Yeah, with the price of fuel.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, we might be up this summer, but yeah, I'm happy we can do this over the phone for sure.
Yeah, I'm sitting here in my jammies.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice. This is the first one, I've done a couple here, but mostly I travel to my guests, but you are not very close.
Yeah, I'm a little out of the way for you. Yeah. Well, till fall when you come up here hunting again, right?
That's right, yeah. See what the fall brings. Hopefully we get some good snow.
Yeah. We gotta talk filming moose hunts too. Don't forget when we get done.
Yeah. We were supposed to do that before, but we'll do it after.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pretty excited for that. If that can happen, I got a couple different package deals in mind for clients. I know sometimes, people win that lottery and they don't got a lot of money and, they want least some memory
Right.
captured, and
Absolutely.
like I could do a
Yep.
basic plan. But
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have a cameraman. Most of my hunts, I would love to have a cameraman. I don't know why. I film tons of moose, and I do a good job filming when I'm in the woods. But when I know it's that moose that we're gonna kill, when we found that one that that
yeah,
wants to die, the
your job isn't to film it. Your job is
yeah,
to get the
yeah.
client their moose. It's my job to be a fly on the wall and just capture it.
Yeah, that bull this year, I mean, I called him right across a great big beautiful bog. He was right out in the center. I mean, it would have made beautiful footage, but I was
Yeah.
just so wrapped up in making sure,
Yep.
they were
That's your
good
job.
coaching either. They were great hunters. So, but
Yep.
hey, that's how it goes.
Yep. We were talking a little bit before this. We kind of both got turkeys on the brain, but I love spring bird hunting, man. I get ate up with it.
Yeah, I just got a Tacticam. I have some friends that the friends now, they were clients, some bear clients from a few years ago, and I see them at all the shows down south, and he hooked me up with one of those Tacticams, the 5.0s,
Yep.
and I'm really excited. I think for turkeys and for bear, I think I'll set it up on a gun, but then I think I'll try to do the shoulder mount thing. I'm gonna start messing around with that so I can do some self filming too.
For deer
Yeah, the shoulder's
or
gonna
for
be
anything.
for the birds, for birds and bears, it's not a
Yep.
big deal. You can do the gun mounted, but for deer, I mean, it's so hard to get footage from a rifle, when a deer's jumping through the bushes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I wear the one on my head. But
Yeah,
there's
see, we used to do the head ones with the GoPro, but there seems to be a lot of movement when you do the head ones.
Yeah, well, which GoPro did you have?
Oh, I mean, these would have been back when they had they were
Yeah,
like,
see, so now
like,
the new ones have such crazy image stabilization that that's not even a factor anymore. But
yeah,
um,
no doubt.
I don't know if it's all of them or just I got a dud. But I just sold an Hero 8, and the reason I sold it was because below 40 degrees, the thing would just die. It would eat through batteries. Even if you weren't using them, it would just die. And I was really frustrated with it. So I'm back to my Hero 4, which
that's what I think I was using was a 4.
It's shaky. It doesn't have the image stabilization, but the battery lasts even in the cold weather. So
right.
I'm kind of on the fence of, do I go buy a new one and run into the same problem, or figure something else out? But
yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this Tacticam, giving it a try, and I might. I don't want to have too many cameras on me, but I mean, it couldn't hurt to have more than one on. I wouldn't mind getting a GoPro on the shoulder and then still doing the Tacticam on the barrel would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, the more camera angles, the better. That's for sure.
No, I know. Yeah.
Even when I self film from the tree stand during bow season, I got the camera on the camera arm, and then behind me I have the GoPro, because at the end of the day, getting the shots cool, but I'm trying to get the deer, so I'm not gonna risk that. So if I gotta abandon the camera to make the shot, at least I got the GoPro shot,
Right.
At least I got a shot of me shooting and such a wide angle lens that maybe the deer's in frame. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it'll be good for definitely for the turkey hunts and the bear. It might even be bear might be tough too, just because a lot of times early bears would be good, but some of those bear shooting times it gets dark. So
right.
But I'm gonna give it a try. Definitely gonna give that Tacticam a solid rep this year.
Yeah, for sure. So, I guess I did a poor job at introducing you, but so who is Stephen Schanz?
No, man, you nailed it. There's not much more to say about me than
oh, come on.
I know I'm big Woodstock team member Stephen Schanz.
Youngest Maine guide registered.
That was like wow. Not to age, my 13 years ago now.
Yeah,
I guess. And I got my guide's license. I've been guiding now for 13 years. I got a small break in there from military Marine Corps service, but yeah, I've been in the woods my whole life. It's kind of funny, just coming on, and rubbing elbows with the big woods guys, because his dad's been on the crew for, however long they've been doing it, 20, 20 years, 20 plus years,
Yeah,
you know,
he kind of came with the building.
yeah. Right. So, I've been, that fly on the wall, I've been at the dinner table with these guys, ever since I was a kid, so kind of that honorary team member. But, yeah, I've got my guide's license and doing the guiding thing and doing a lot of hunting. I'm pretty fortunate. I'm blessed. I spend pretty much from, beginning of September all the way through end of December. I'm in the woods. I guide bear all September, and then moose all October. Moose, now with the extended cow hunt, I do 3 weeks of moose hunting in October. Then I'm guide deer. I think this year I guide deer for Big Woods Outfitters for the first 3 weeks, and then I'll be in the woods hunting myself for till the end of December. So pretty fortunate. Spend a lot of time in the woods.
Yep. And then we got Massachusetts there at the end. Try to sneak in a little hunt for yourself.
Yeah. Talk about that. I'm excited because this year was the first year I'd been up there. I heard a lot of people talk because I got my deer so early in Maine this year. I guide people all year, or all fall. And then the first time I get to carry a gun, it was literally like the second day I got to carry a gun in the woods. That second morning I shot a nice buck, and then I was jonesing for hunting, for like the next 2 weeks after that. And I was like, well, Mass has that late season. A lot of guys had some luck up there late season the year before. So I ran up there, and I was really, really happy with the deer hunting in Western Mass there. We only had snow for like a day, but yeah, I was on a nice buck, the first day, and I saw a lot of deer, nothing to pull a trigger on, but that the first buck I was on was definitely, something I definitely would have shot. So yeah, I'm excited to get back there. It's nice to have your season extended that far,
That's a fact, yeah. So, Stephen, what was your role in the military? You were Marine, correct?
Yeah, I'm an infantryman. I still am, actually. I'm on. I've got like 6 years now with that extra deployment. I got with the reserves. I got 6 years active, I guess, and 7 years of reserve duty. Technically, I've only been in 12 years, but I think I have 13 sat years the way I came off active duty and finished out my time for the reserves. So yeah, so technically 12 years, I guess, I have in the Marine Corps now. Yeah, that's what'll have me out your way, actually, in June. So maybe we can link up then.
Yeah, for sure. I'm around. So let's talk a little bit about you kind of transitioning from your old man teaching you the guide stuff to kind of taking it on your own and helping him out with the guides business. How did that kind of look? I assume you were right out there as a kid, doing bear baits and stuff with him.
Oh, yeah. So we actually never did. We were only just taking over a bear business. This is actually next year will actually be the first year that we've always offered like one or two hunts up there at Pleasant Ridge. We have some camps up there.
I imagine bears tough on the guides.
Yeah, it's pretty time consumptive. So if you're not getting a good clientele, it's just really not worth your time or the logistics you have, invested into it.
Yeah, your return on investment's like nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hobby at that point, which is fine. But I still gotta support a family,
Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, so I'm taking over bear business actually. This year I did all the shows with Steve with JNS, and I'll be buying the business out next year. We're moving all the lodging over to Mom and Dad's there at Schanz's Guide Service. And I got like 50 bait sites I'll be taking over, and I've guided with Steve now for a couple of years. It's right there close to. I mean, I knew where a lot of his bait sites were before I even started working for him because it's where I deer hunt a lot. So it's real convenient and real great success rate on the sites. And I'm really happy, really excited to be taking over and helping out. Steve's been a great help to me. So. Yeah, and it's good too, man, because it gets me out there in the spring. I can go down. It's hard to run around to shows and advertise deer hunts and moose hunts down south, but bear hunts sell great. So it gets me out of the house in the wintertime too, and down there talking the outdoors with guys and meeting a lot of different people. It's been great opportunity.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of that lately. It seems like every time I talk to you, like, I'm coming back from Kentucky. Yeah, I'm coming back from. Iowa or wherever. Like how many have you done so far? Gotta be a handful.
Yeah, so we did the Paducah one, Indianapolis one, Columbus. I had drill, so I wasn't able to do the Kansas City one, but we did the Kansas City one too. We jump around a lot of them. I think we'll do Syracuse next year. I think we're gonna do Syracuse. So we're jumping around. I really, honestly, the bear hunt sells so because nobody wants to go to Canada right now because of the politics with Canada.
Yeah.
Uh, Nobody wants to go to Canada right now to hunt bears, and I shouldn't say nobody, but there's a huge demographic of people that don't want to go to Canada to hunt bears.
Yep.
So they're paying the money to come to Maine. I mean, we got a great hunt in Maine. You know, it's successful, and it's really one of the least expensive big game hunts you can go on. You know, you can't hunt something like a black bear. You know,
Yeah.
for food, lodging for under $2,500. Like, food and lodging nowadays, you can't go on a family vacation for a week for that. So
Right. Let alone get like, put on game.
right,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah, big game hunt, right? So I mean, the hunt pretty much sells itself. In the state of Maine, the licensing in the state of Maine is really inexpensive. We got a great bear population right now. They'll even let you take two bear now. You can trap one and take one trapping, and then you can shoot one
Oh,
afterwards.
really?
Yeah, you can actually take two bear in Maine as long as you have your trapping license. You have
Oh,
to take
no
like an
kidding.
course and everything online, but yeah, you can actually take two bear in Maine right now.
Oh man, that'd be aggressive. Rolling up
Yeah,
on a trapped bear. I assume like a foot trap.
yeah. Foot
Oh
snap.
man,
Yeah,
that'd be intense.
yeah, yeah. I'm
You
excited
you
about.
need like a sniper up behind you just in case
Yeah,
things went
yeah,
south.
yeah. So yeah, we're excited. I'm really excited about the bear side. Dad still runs pretty much runs the moose side. I'm out there a lot now. With people. So I'm still attracting. Like I take care of the social media and stuff for the website and everything. So,
Yep.
and dude, dad's the talker. Dad loves talking to people, and I mean he just comes with years and 30
Yeah.
plus years of knowledge, of moose hunting knowledge. You know what I mean? 40 plus years of moose hunting knowledge. At this point. So, yeah, I run the behind the scenes stuff, and people call Dad. Dad sells hunts. We take people out, and I mean, you've been on moose hunts with us, man. It's a great time.
Yeah. You both are just like, really down to earth, like humble people, and just the fact that your old man shot that deer wearing blue jeans is just a
Oh,
testament to like
yeah,
just you need woodsmanship skills. You don't
yeah,
really need anything else. I mean, all the
yeah.
other stuff is just it helps, sure. I mean, does good gear help? And on that rainy day we were out there, was he wearing wool? Absolutely. But um, yeah, just so talk a little bit about like what it was like, when your dad was showing you around the woods, like how was
Oh
it
man,
growing up with him? Was he kind of
oh,
like
I've,
forget the frills, you don't need them, just this is what you need to know, or was it kind of like just I'm gonna take my son out, hope he likes it, and kind of go with that?
oh, I mean a little bit of both, man. I especially, I was shooting birds. I remember the first year I went bird hunting. I was just a squirt, man. I was tiny. I couldn't tell you how much I weighed, but I had that 16 gauge shotgun. Uh, and my arm was black and blue after shooting birds for a week, with my father and grandfather. And that was just really social. My father's still my best friend. He was growing up too, and we just yeah, I love being in the woods. I shot a nice little buck when I was 10 years old. Because back then in Maine you couldn't hunt till you were 10. I went out and Dad shot a nice buck that year. So Dad didn't have a gun, but he took me out still, and I went out and shot a small buck. And then the first Monday of my second year hunting when I was 11, I shot. I was actually still using that 16 gauge with slugs, and I gave a 237 pounder both barrels of that shotgun. It was just too far for me to shoot. I know exactly how much he weighs because thankfully Dad was better at shooting at deer running at 100 yards than I was at shooting at deer at 60 yards standing still. But yeah, yeah, I've never had poor experiences really in the woods, and I think that's helped because Dad's always just taking good care of me when I was out there, and made sure he didn't. I was wore out, and I was certainly times I was freezing cold, but I just yeah, it's just all on how you take care of. It's just like taking care of clients. He's just how you treat people and how you take care of them in the woods is going to set the tone for, how they view the woods the rest of their life.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, moose camp's a whole nother story. I shot a nice bull when I was 13, but I've been in moose camp ever since I was, a kid, ever since Dad got his guy's license. And I mean, I'd ride around, I'd eat Mom's great cooking and ride around and look at moose and hang out with Dad and the clients and stuff and help break down, set up camp and stuff. And it got me out of school. I always hated school. I still hate school. This is my last semester of college, actually. Now I still hate, I'm going online, but I still hate school. So I was always really happy to get out of school when I was a kid, say nothing about doing it so I could go up in the woods and go hunting, hunting or fishing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Kelly Schanz. She definitely we eat good at Moose Camp.
Yeah. Oh, I know. We eat great. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good time. It's honestly, I like deer hunting better. I like moose guiding for hunting, but for guiding, moose guiding it's a beautiful time of the year. Everybody has a good time. We eat good. The hours aren't crazy. You don't wake up crazy early, you go to bed crazy late.
Yeah, it's a little laid
they're
back.
long days. Yeah. They're still long days. Like that September hunt I had a couple of really competent hunters with me. And like the day we got the bull, I put 21 miles on that day. I got a screenshot still on my phone of it. By the time we got the bull and got him packed out and everything, that was a long day. But not most days aren't like that, in moose camp, and depending on the client, they don't have to be like that anyway. But and depending on the competency of the clients too.
So you've shot a bull moose, right?
Yeah, when I was 13, I shot a bull. It's nothing I would shoot now. I think he was like 42 inches or something like that. But yeah, Dad was guiding. That was back when Dad first started guiding. And actually, the client he had was a kid that was shooting. He was shooting in the Olympics. Actually, I can't remember his name, but there was another young guy. He was taking out
for like trap or something.
Yeah, the 22s, the actual.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, in the Olympics. Yeah, and so Dad had a client, so I went with Grandpa, and yeah, I actually have that rifle now. He sold it to me a couple of years ago. I told him never to don't get rid of it. I wanted to buy it when I came back home, and yeah, it was Monday morning. We saw a great big beautiful bull across the road in front of us with a cow and a calf, way bigger than the one I got. But I was just a kid, My grandfather wasn't really a trophy hunter, man. He was always a brown. If it was brown, it was down. So we saw that big bull and a cow and a calf, and it was like 9 a.m. in the morning. We look up this woods road like 400 yards away, and there's two bulls sparring. So we get up to like 250 yards of them, and I was carrying a 99. I actually might have that 99 too. I was talking with Dad about it. I have a Savage 99 that my father gave to me in 308 with me that day, and he gave me one. I'm not sure if it's the same one or not. I was talking with him about the other day. But I had a 1 to 4 power Leopold on it, and I was looking. I was like, it's still a little far away. But my grandfather had a Model 70, and he had a 2 to 7 variable on it. And when I put that up to 7, I was like, yeah, I think I can hit that from here. So I shot that moose like 250 yards when I was 13 years old. And he walked the edge of the road. He walked back in the road, and he fell over dead right there. And
no kidding.
That was my first actual, moose hunting experience, I guess. But I had other times. I remember when I was a kid, I had a bull. I was Dad had clients, and I was just up there to help set up camp, break down camp. And I don't even think, because I might have been 16, but I don't think I was carrying a gun. I usually would carry my 22 if I went up there and just hung out. I can't remember how old I was, but I was a late teen, 13 to 16, somewhere in there. And I was walking down a road, and I could hear a bull grunting, and he walked out the road in front of me and I like jumped into the ditch, and I was like in the ditch hiding from him. And he was like 4 yards away, walked across in front of me. I remember looking up, counting his points, because I was like, I got to tell Dad how big this bull is. So I'm trying to figure out like how to gauge how big the bull is, because he's like right over the top of me. And I ran back to Dad, and we got the clients, and we walked back in there, and Dad called the bull back in, and they shot it. And I told Dad before we got it, I was like, he's got 7 points on, he was either left side or right side. And yeah, it was the exact same bull. He called it back in and shot it. So yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Born to do it.
Yeah. 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 I was just born into it is what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hanging around with the Big Woods Bucks guys. I mean, yeah, you had
Oh yeah,
some
man.
really good mentors. I mean, those are
Yeah,
arguably, actually, I wouldn't say arguably. I'm saying arguably because as a host, I kind of have to, but they're some of the best deer hunters or hunters, period, in the country, like hands
yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. I would agree. I would agree. There's
They definitely don't have like, I guess, the recognition or following that like
like real good
nobody
guys.
nobody knows how good they are because it's just a like tracking such a like niche market. I mean, there's only
Yeah,
it's not a countrywide thing. Like nobody really does it. It's kind of like specific to the Northeast. But like when Hal went
well,
out and shot that bull elk with his peep sight carbine,
right,
Chris was
exactly,
saying everybody at camp was like, "What is that?" They all got their sniper rifles,
right,
And Chris goes, I don't know if you probably shouldn't doubt him. And they're like, well, what are you going to do if a bull is, so and so yards out? And Hal just goes, I'm going to get closer.
right, right.
And he shot the biggest bull in camp that week.
Yep. Oh yeah, I talk about that all the time because going down south doing these sportsman shows and stuff, it's so hard to sell deer hunts to these guys down there. Because I mean,
Yeah.
they got feeders out, man. They got like 230-pound deer, 170-inch deer, 4.5-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
come in like pets, and they shoot them off their feeders and stuff. And so it's so hard to like, because people just look at the instant gratification of the trophy.
Right.
But yeah, you can go down there and Hal could go down there and shoot deer like that. There's not many guys down south can come up here and shoot Hal as consistently as Hal or Timmy or Rick or Nick or those guys are doing year after year after year.
Yeah. It's a different. I wouldn't say it's a. I guess yeah. You're hunting a different mindset of an animal, but it's the mindset of the person that really is going to set you apart. Like
Yeah,
you have to
absolutely.
be driven and determined, and you have to like the fact that it sucks. You know what I mean? You got to like the fact that like I got to work for this. If you
Right.
don't, the big woods just isn't for you. You know,
That's a fact. That's a fact.
you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta love the solitude and like the occasionally you see people or whatever, but like for the most part, especially if it's bare ground. If you're bare
Yeah.
ground still hunting, you are probably not going to run into somebody,
That's
you
a
know.
fact. Yeah.
And you got to love that part of it. You got to love the process. The if you shoot a buck, a big buck or whatever your heart desires is that's just like icing on the cake. Not to sound corny, but like it's the journey that I think we're all chasing, not necessarily the deer.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's funny because everybody's, oh, you're part of the big woods. I'm guilty by association. Like I said, I've been part of the crew now since I was a kid, but you can't lump me in with those guys. Not at this point in my hunting.
I'll lump you in with those guys,
I know you would. I know you would. I can't do that.
dude. You're no slouch.
No, I know, but it's so humbling being in the woods hunting with these guys. You were talking earlier about how Dad goes out there in his blue jeans and he's out, he's just out there, hunting and calling in these great bulls and shooting nice bulls and stuff. And I don't think about it because I've always been, like I said, I've just
Yeah.
always hung up with guys.
You're like that's just what Dad does.
Right, but it's yeah, it's just extremely humbling to be part. Like I said, lumped into that organization, being part of that crew. Because like I said, yeah, I don't, yeah, I don't know, I don't, hey, I can moose hunt with the best, and I'm not the best moose hunter, Nick, dude, I had the opportunity to hunt, have Nick Campagney in camp.
Nick's a savage.
Oh, what a great moose hunter, man! Just
That dude. If you're calling in giant bulls in
yeah,
Vermont,
yeah,
you're something to that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Four
no,
for
Nick's
four for four
legit.
this year. 4 for 4 this year, man, in New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine.
Yeah.
And I mean, so we had, like I said, you were talking about Dad hunting out there with the blue jeans. So I had Timmy reminds me a lot of dads in some aspects like that too, because this was actually the first year I ever hung out with Timmy actually. Because I mean, I knew him, I met him a couple times and stuff, but he actually guided for us that second year.
Yeah, he was successful.
Yeah. Oh, he shot a beautiful. Yeah, he shot tridents, man. He shot a beautiful bull. Yeah, nice. And I can't remember how wide he was, but he was like around 50 inches. Beautiful bull. Great big trident fronts. Great big beautiful 3-pointed fronts. Beautiful bull. And but of course, we reached out to him because we sold a lot of hunts last year. We actually had to turn down some because we're just not going to take clients, man, unless we have a good guide to take them out. We could take their money and run, but
Yeah, but that's not what you're about.
No. We want to have successful hunt, and we only hire good guys. So Dad reached out to Timmy, and Timmy's like,
Wait. You only hire good guides, and you hire Timmy?
Yeah, that's what. Well, no, you laugh.
Just kidding, Timmy.
No, but that's what Timmy said, because he's like, I don't know, Lee. He's like, I've moose hunted, but he's like, haven't really guided. He's like, I know what level you guys operate at and stuff. And Dad's like, don't worry about it. He's like, I know how good you are in the woods. He's like, if you're a good deer hunter, and the Maine woods like that, like we can teach you to be a good moose hunter and stuff. So I reached out to Timmy. I was like, hey man, just come up if you want. And Timmy, man, he gives everything 110%. If he's something, he's going to do it right.
Oh, yeah.
So I reached out to Timmy and I was like, hey, if you want to come up and shadow me that first week in September, before you guide for us in October, you're more welcome to. And of course, he jumped on it, so he came up and he shadowed me for like 3 days. And
he's like, I got this.
Yeah. So he was just, he's like, I can do this, and then we had, me and Nick took him out some and called with him some right before the October week. We went out because he wouldn't call that first week with me. I had a nice bull. I don't know if you've seen the video of my deer hunt, but that bull I called in.
Yeah.
In that video, Timmy was with me that day. That was the first Monday morning.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't a bull we were gonna shoot. So I looked back at Timmy. I was like, hey man, you want to talk to him? Go ahead. Just talk to him. Get used to talk to him. He's like, no way, man. No, I'm good. So we went out, we called with him some in October, man. And yeah, I was like, yeah, he's going to be perfectly fine. He's like I said, he sells himself short, man. Another very, just wicked humble guy,
Yeah, he's super talented.
Super talented. Crushed it in October for us. Nick crushed it in October for us, of course.
You want to hear a funny story? He was telling me this while we were in Maine filming this year, and it was one of those situations where we just stopped, taking a break, just chatting, and he's telling a story about, like you were saying, he was nervous about calling and shit, and Nick's like, just let one rip, just let one rip. So he's like, I let out this big bellow.
Oh, yeah, I was with him.
I was with him. He's like, and then I turned around and Nick's got his head laid back and he's rubbing his nipples.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I was with him, man. Yeah, we ended up.
He's like, yeah, that's good.
It was a great time, man. We spent 3 days, just me and Nick, because all three of us had Zone 5 permits. All three of us kind of ran around together and scouted. And like I said, that was the first time I'd really worked with Nick and got to hear Nick talk, moose talk, and wicked talented caller and a wealth of knowledge when it comes to moose. I learned again, man. Yeah. I'm one of the younger guys. Like I've learned a lot from like Brian Donaghy, Dad, Hal. I've been able to learn from all these guys and kind of mesh it into, how I hunt. And the same thing with Nick. Like Nick's learning from all these guys out in Vermont, New Hampshire and stuff too. He's just wicked talented. But yeah, dude, I got pictures. I got to send you the picture of, we just went out. That was like, we ran out that evening. We're like,
oh yeah, no. He wanted to try it out.
Yeah. I was like, we gotta go somewhere where we're not gonna hunt moose, and you can just, let a few cow rips out of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were driving down the road, and I was in my slippers and shorts, man. Like we're just, but we're like, it was Saturday, so I ended up shooting a partridge that day and stuff, and like, we're just having a good old time up in the woods, man. It was a great 3 days of hanging out and getting to know Nick and Timmy. Like I said, especially, it was the first time I'd really spent any amount of time with the two of them in the woods, really.
Yeah.
So, very fortunate.
Timmy's good people. Nick is too. I mean, those dudes do anything for you.
Yeah, so much to learn from as far as deer hunting and moose hunting. So that's actually like the deer I got this year. So like I said, I had Timmy there with me that morning, right? And that first Monday morning, and we had a great morning. We called in a few bulls. That was the only one that we could have shot. I'm trying to think if we called one in Monday night. I can't remember how many. It was a great Monday. Like we had a killer Monday. So we walked down this road, And as we're coming back from where I called that bull in, where we filmed that bull, we're like walking back out, and Timmy's in the back, behind the two clients, just kind of like I said, like just shadowing me. Well, he jogs up to me. He's like, bro, he's like, I know why I recognize this road now. Why he's like, I dragged a buck out this road, like, so many years ago. And I was like, what are the chances of that? He's like, yeah, he got back there and he was on his GPS. He's like, yeah, he said, it was on the road right below it. He said, I tracked it up through the woods and shot it down by the brook, dragged it up to this road, dragged it out. I was like, what are the chances of it being the same road? And then I ended up, just the road up from it was the road that we ended up, we got a nice bull on Friday that week. That's it was
crazy.
Great. Yeah, just riding around with Timmy, listening to him talk about deer and stuff, man. Yeah, just a wealth of hunting knowledge. And everybody hunts so different too, man. Even deer. It's crazy to hear like how different everybody hunts deer.
Yeah, he's I mean, he does a little bit. I mean, he bow hunts and everything too, and where he lives in New Hampshire has a good deer population. Like, you'd be silly not to bow hunt. I mean,
oh yeah,
there's a lot of deer around there.
I know your first couple podcasts, he had one of them. At least one of them, he talked about pretty extensively about how he bow hunts.
Yeah. No, he's not really known for it. I mean, he doesn't got a new fancy bow and all that, and doesn't care about FOC and any of that stuff. But he gets it done.
Right. Yeah. He knows deer, man. He knows deer. He knows deer habitat. And
yep. Absolutely.
He's a woodsman, man.
Absolutely. You track deer long enough, and you'll figure them out, whether it's snow on the ground or not. You figure out kind of what they do and their tendencies and stuff like that. Something I'm hoping to perfect.
Yeah. Just a stud in the woods, man. Yeah, I learned a lot from Timmy this year, riding around, hanging out with him about deer. And, he's always something to learn. I learned a lot from Nick, about moose this year, and yeah, it's just, it's every year's a learning year. Of course, I'm in the big woods. I'm over there to Big Woods Outfitters, hanging out with the guys and stuff. Learned a lot. Everybody hunts different, hunts in their own way. What works for somebody isn't going to work for somebody else. I'm very fortunate to be able to hear, how everybody does stuff. And
this just came to me. This would probably be better discussed off podcast, but we'll just do it on here. The podcast I just did with the Joey Mikey and Stephen King. Who went up there.
Yeah.
So Stephen texted me and he's like,
yeah,
dude, we failed to mention Mikey killed 190 something pound buck up there.
Yeah. I told you.
Well, you said it was like, did they kill a spike horn? I'm like, I don't think so.
No, yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure they got a. I was like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
he killed a nice buck, and we somehow like, I didn't know about it, but never got brought up.
Yeah, because he was talking about being starstruck by Hal.
Yeah, that was Joey. But
yeah, he'd go into this spot that he was supposed to go into. And Hal's giving him a hard time. I remember, like, while I was listening to it on your podcast, I was listening to it and I was laughing myself because I was there at that conversation at the dinner table. Yeah, and then so I hit you up and I was like, I'm pretty sure, because after listening to podcasts, they didn't bring it up, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure those guys got a deer up there.
Yeah. Well, I was confused because you said they did, and like, well, they didn't mention it.
Yeah.
And then turns out just 194 pound whatever buck just slipped their mind.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're big buck killers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one. Forgot about that one. We drove up to Maine, shot that giant.
I think they were up there the second week, right?
First.
The first week?
First week.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, they're gonna hop on talk turkeys with me soon, so we'll have to talk about that story because evidently that one missed the record book.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about so for those who don't know, I'm sure a lot of people who listen to this podcast know Big Woods Bucks, and probably the couple videos. Well, I have more than a couple videos, a couple films. I got a couple films and a bunch of videos out on their page, but of your old man's moose. That, for those who don't know, state of Maine is a lottery draw system, and they don't seem to, like, it doesn't seem to matter whether you're a resident or non-resident. It's completely random, and yeah, 40 years your old man waited for a permit, and he was a sub permittee on a couple, or one or two. Was it one or two?
He was on two, but the only one that we ever, was
His
because
father's, right?
no, his mom got it one when I
Oh,
was a
okay,
kid.
yeah.
Yeah, those are some of my first memories. I think we were still at the old house, so I would have been 5 or 6 when he got that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So for his own permit, he waited 40 years.
yeah,
Registered master guide for 20, however long, and finally drew it and shot a Boone and Crockett bull on the second to last day of the hunt.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you were able to be there for that. So I guess first let's dive into the reason you were able to be there for that is because Thursday. It was Thursday, right? You shot, or
No, it
no,
was
Wednesday
Wednesday.
Wednesday in the rain.
Yeah. So
Wednesday in the rain, you got your client a really nice bull.
Yeah. So I can't even take full credit for. So I can't I always say I put Dad on that bull, but it was actually somebody. Mark Donaghy had actually put me, and again, like I said, I'm very fortunate because I've worked with Epic Adventures a few times, man. Brian and Mark are great moose hunters, just awesome moose hunters.
I had to have him on.
What's that?
I had to have him on the podcast and talk some.
Yeah. Oh, you should have Brian on talk trapping sometime, man. That'd be really great.
Yeah.
Brian. I mean, he can talk moose like a son of a gun too, and he's been real successful deer hunting the last few years too. But I mean, the guy's a real stud trapper, especially. Yeah.
Trapping's something that I would like to get into. My uncle's was at one point the president of the Trappers Association of Vermont, and it's kind of a dying like thing. And I think the more time goes on, the more people want to get rid of it. It seems to be the case if you look around the news at all. But anyways.
Yeah, so Mark and Brian, like I learned a lot from Mark and Brian because I guided for them for a few years, especially Brian. But Mark was the one that set up because I worked for them that year, and Mark had actually set up the camera that we got pictures of Dad's bull on, and it was down this it was the most random. It was close to camp. Was the only reason I think he really set it up was he had an extra camera, and it was kind of he's like, well, I'll set it up here, and he just happened to get pictures of this bull. Down in this spot. It was like the last camera we checked, scouting that weekend. But me and Dad had actually gone down that road to sight in Dad's gun, and right there on the Reality Road, I can say that because there's like hundreds of spans of Reality Road there that you can hunt from 2 and 5.
Yeah.
But there was a bull there that ran out into the road. So I get out and I'm like, there's got to have been another bull jump this bull out in the road. So I go down in the woods, and there was another bull, bigger bull that I didn't get any footage of, ran down into the woods. And the bull that jumped out in the road was like, low and mid 40s, not a, maybe a Friday or Saturday bull. But so we get in the truck, and me and Dad drive down this road to go shoot his gun. And another big bull comes out in the road and runs down the road in front of us. I'm like, well, this road's pretty hot. So I ended up hunting in there Monday and Tuesday, but it was stupid hot those days. And then I went in Wednesday and I talked to some moose, but it wasn't one of those spots you couldn't just see a moose. It was thick. You were in there, man. It was stupid thick in there. There wasn't any fresh cuts or anything. It was, if you couldn't talk to a moose, moose out of the woods, you weren't going to see him. Wednesday morning, we went in there and I got a small, low 30s bull and, just started to palm in the road, about 20 yards in front of us. And we filmed him for a bit, and then he went about his way, and we went back. And I was like, you know what? The weather was going to change, is what it was. If you remember, Thursday and Friday were great weather that week.
Yeah, it finally broke. It finally was cold.
Yeah,
the rest of the week was,
yep,
shorts weather.
Yeah, it was. It was stupid hot. Wednesday wasn't bad, but remember, it was a hurricane Wednesday. It was pouring rain. Yep. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to waste my best. We'll go in Thursday and we'll hunt that big bull that we got the pictures of, because we had pictures of him real good, multiple times of him in there. And I've actually never really hunted a bull that I got pictures of, hunted him. I'll go into a spot if there's a good bull and I'll call some. But that was the first bull I'd ever really hunted purposefully, because I could tell he was a Boone and Crockett, close to Boone and Crockett bull.
Yeah, with those fronts just
huge.
Yeah.
And so Wednesday night, I said, you know what? It was still wicked windy. I was like, you know what? I don't want to go in and waste calling in there. I was like, when I know I can go in Thursday morning and just have a crisp, clear, beautiful morning to call a bull in, So I was like, we'll go somewhere. I have another spot picked out, that we haven't hunted yet. We'll go up in there. And it just happened. I called in a beautiful bull Wednesday night. We go down in this spot, and it's right at the end of a road. I parked like my truck not in the road. Like people can drive by me because you're not supposed to block roads, and I'm polite. So I parked, and people bird hunt and stuff, whatever. But I parked, so very obvious, like I'm walking down that road. We walk out to the end of the road. I'm sitting there and I'm calling for like a half hour or so, and I hear bang, bang, like right behind us. And I was like, I could tell it was a rifle. I was like, there's no way somebody's shooting, came down past us to moose hunt on this road. It's a dead end road, Well, I go back up there, and I was like, well, I have to at least, go up and see what's going on. So I go back, I walk back with the clients, I leave, and I see the guys up in front of us. So I leave the clients there on the road, and I walk up, and I was like, I could see they had a small bull off on the side of the road there. And I walked up, I was like, hey guys, how's it going? They're like, good. They said, I was like, it's a nice little bull. He had kind of a cool rack. His rack split at the bases. Like it would have been he was small. It was like a 400-pound bull, young, 1.5 old, 2.5-year-old, but, he had kind of a cool rack. And so I talked to him a bit, and I was like, did you guys, drive past my truck or walk past my truck? And they were pretty sheepish about it. Like you could tell they're like, oh yeah, we kind of, there's plenty of woods up here. We kind of jerks to walk right past your truck. But I didn't make a fuss about it. It is what it is. You can't. I asked them if they had a guide with them, because if they had a guide with them, I would have pulled them aside and been like, hey man, come on. Like you should know better than this. Like right. I wouldn't walk in and hunt behind you and right on. I probably called that bull out into the road for him. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't come down and hunt right on top of somebody else, But they didn't have a guide with them or anything. I was like, whatever, you can't. Some people just don't know, man. So I'm just best to just keep good faith. So, but I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, I only got like an hour left to hunt. And I'm like, there's no way I have time now to, walk these guys all the way back to the truck, go find another spot to hunt. I'm going to have like 15 minutes to call at the end of the night. It's like, so I asked, and it was really windy. I asked the guys, I was like, they were like a half mile from where I was hunting, up the road. So I asked them, I was like, can you guys do me a favor? And of course they're like, yeah, sure. Cause they knew they were, jerks. I was like, can you guys just, be quiet when you're loading the bull up? I was like, I'm going to take my clients back in. I was like, and just try to finish the night out down here. And they're like, yeah, of course. So I told them, I was like, my truck, this is where my truck is. This is where I hide my key for my toolbox, help yourself. If you guys need to get the come-alongs out or the winches or anything, to load the moose and stuff. They're like, oh, appreciate it. So I go back down to the woods. And I go back down to the clients, and I'm like, yeah, I showed them a picture of the bull, and I was like, we're going to go down here and finish the night. And they're like, we're going to go down here and hunt still? I was like, yeah, it's that's not the bull we're in here hunting. You guys, I would have talked you out of shooting that. It's not, it's definitely not a Wednesday bull. And they're like, yeah, but they just shot it. They'd be like, yeah, but they just shot right here. And I was like, yeah, but it's bird season. Like, there's people shooting everywhere. Like, these moose don't really care. I was like, I'm calling down and away from this. I'm calling like I can call a moose in, a couple miles, when the weather's just right, and the wind's just right. And you could tell they were like, yeah, Schanz is just crazy. He's just blowing smoke up our butts right now. But we walked down in there at the end of the road, and I call for maybe a half hour, and I can hear it grunting down in below us. And, a little bull comes out, like a little 6-pointer comes out, and he walks up through the cut, and he walks right behind us and walks right on top of us and goes down in below us. So now the clients are all cool about, Tom was wicked good people anyway. And they're all cool about it. And they're like, oh, well, I guess, Stephen wasn't full of it, when he said we could still call and hunt moose right here. And so I'm glassing down where the little bull had gone into. And this is the first moose I think I've ever spotted with my binoculars glassing. And I'm looking, and I see a palm down in the woods, like a long ways away, like 400, 500 yards away. And I look at my watch, and I'm like, I got like 20 minutes to finish this bull. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this in 20 minutes or not. So I pull Tom aside. I'm like, hey, I was like, I see a nice palm down in across from us. I was like, I'm going to try to work him out into the cut. And I call a little bit more, but it was so windy. The bull was waiting to hear, he was waiting to see, between the gusts to try and hear me so that he could locate me. And so I'd wait for the gusts to go down, and I'd call as loud as I could down to him, and he'd work his way up. Finally, come out in the cut, and I was glassing down. I could see. I was like, yeah, that's a nice bull. I told Tom, I was like, hey, if I can't finish this bull in the next 10 minutes, I was like, if he doesn't come up over this rise, I was like, we're gonna just hustle out of here and we'll come back in the morning. I said, no, we'll try to find him, tomorrow morning. I was like, because I can't finish this bull the way the weather is right now unless he really comes, running to us. Well, he kind of goes down into a dip and I can't see him anymore. And I told Tom, I was like, hey, when he comes up over, I was like, this bull might get uncomfortably close. I said, don't shoot until I tell you to. I said, he ain't going to know what's going on. Like, the wind's good. I was like, he has no idea what's going on. I said, just wait for him to get uncomfortably close. So we're sitting there and we're looking straight ahead of the rise, and he's not coming up over it. And I looked down, I was like, all right, I'm going to give him one more call. And if he doesn't come up over this rise, I was like, we're coming back and finish him in the morning. So I give one more call just as loud and as obnoxious as I can. And that moose, I didn't even hear him grunt. It was like I could almost feel it in the ground. Like I could hear him and feel it, him galloping up. And he came up to our left, right up where the little bull had come. And he came up and he like runs out in the cut. And he was running, trying, because he was probably frustrated because he couldn't figure out where we were because of the wind. Well, I grabbed Tom and I like throw him out in the cut with me, and I grunt just as loud as I could to try to catch him before he got into the cut, into the woods. And he like stops like 25, 30 yards away and looks over at us, and we're like stare down for like 5 seconds. And Tom shoots him, right behind the shoulder, and he does that whole, he hunches his back and he turned and he quartered away from us, and he like looks over his shoulder at us like, oh, that sucked. And I could tell, he had impact, and I was like, all right, put it right on his hump and drop him right there. And he pulled down. And he didn't hit the hump, but he just hit just down and just to the left of it. He hit him right in the hip and dropped him right there. Because the first shot killed him anyway. First shot double-lunged him and killed him, and dropped him right there with like a few minutes left to spare. So we're hooting and hollering and all excited. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, and this was a little prideful of me. I was like, I want to run back and get the truck and get down here so I can hopefully get past those guys before they get they can know that I just shot we just got a giant bull down here, So I run back, and they're still trying to, dude, me and Dad could have dragged this bull into the back. They had a trailer. Me and Dad could have dragged.
That's what Lee was saying. He's like, the thing was not he goes, I don't know what they were still struggling with.
Yeah, they got like 2 vehicles there and like 6 guys.
And you offered them come-alongs and all kinds of shit.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, do you guys need anything? And they're like,
you want me to drag that bull out with my one arm?
Yeah. And like I said, it was a cool bull. It had a cool, pretty little rack. It was nice. But I was like I said, I'm pretty easygoing, but I was irritated they came down and hunted right on top of us. Because what if it had been that bull? That they shot.
Yeah, I
was pretty irritated, it just wasn't common courtesy. I understand in, Mass or like other states, where the hunting pressure is worse, hunting on top of people, but there's hundreds of thousands of acres up there. You don't have to hunt right on top of somebody,
Right.
So I told him, I was like, we just got a beautiful bull. He's probably like 50 inches. I was like, I got to run back and get the truck. I just kept running by him. I left. And when I was coming back, they finally had it loaded up. And so...
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I got that. So that's why I hunted Dad's bull all day Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. But I was like, oh, I'll wait till Thursday. So we packed that bull out, and I drove in and met you guys Thursday. Remember?
Yep. That was down on the Pincherry Road.
Not my bull.
No, Dad's bull.
Yeah, Dad's bull was.
Which is funny. It's funny to me because I wonder how many people are trying to type into their GPS the Pincherry Road. It's not a real road, people. It's just a road with a lot of Pincherry on it.
Yeah. That's what all these roads are just like.
Yeah, they're not roads. They're just.
Yeah, I'd say defining features. Yeah, a defining feature on a road is like we had a road. All the time we were growing up, we called the Mogul Road or the Grassy Road, or it was just. Yeah,
you guys know exactly where it is, but like nobody would be able to find it based on the name,
Right. Yeah. But so I get in there Thursday morning. Hal was in there with Ben, and Hal's client had shot a bull down in there. And actually, I camped on that road last year, and I found that where they packed that bull out of. Beautiful spot, but So I was in there and I talked to Dad. I was like, hey, that bull's fair game. You guys, you should go try to go in and Brian had a permit that year. Brian Donaghy had a permit, and Brian actually ended up getting. I was there. I was going to go out with you guys that afternoon, but Brian texted and he's like, "Hey, I got a nice bull down." So I was like, "Well, send me your inReach pin, and I'll come up and help you." And he pretty much had it done by the time I got there, anyway. But so I went to help Brian pack. He shot a beautiful bull. I went and helped Brian pack his bull out, and then I got back that night. And you guys are like, yeah, like, we worked him this night. We're going to go in tomorrow morning. Hopefully he's still right there. And, yeah, we went back in that morning, and sure enough, he was right there. Yeah.
Was that Brian's first bull?
That's Brian's second bull. Brian's got a couple nice ones under his belt now, I think.
On his own permit?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty
nice.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, we went in. We left him thrashing and crashing in the brush. I was trying to get video of him, and Lee's dragging me by my hoodie.
Yeah, like
hey, we gotta go, dude. He can't lay eyes on us, or we're screwed.
Yeah, yep.
And I mean, you could hear him. He was right there. He was racking brush. He was probably off, the road, just after where the bridge was out.
Yeah.
Just off that road, he was probably, I'm saying, 60 yards.
I know,
racking brush, and I'm like with the camera, like, I'm worried about my shot. Lee's like dragging me by my coattails, like, let's go. We can't. But at the same time, I know we heard that truck start up and drive off.
Yeah,
but I guess that's better than him seeing us.
Yeah. Well, he probably just figured, well, that's what scared the cow away, and that's why I couldn't find the cow. You know what I mean? Like, I always try to figure out. So people think these animals, and they are dumb, but there's in some way, but they're smarter than
they're a lot. What I learned, they're a lot.
Dude, we couldn't survive in the woods, man, all winter. You know what I mean? Like, we couldn't go up, live. Those animals are smart, just in their own way. You know what I mean?
They're a lot.
I try to think how they logically would think, and
they're a lot like longbeards. Like when you see a longbeard like pecking a lady's car at a drive-through because it sees its reflection, you're like, those things are dumb. And then you go to hunt them, and you're like, oh, they're super smart.
Yeah, they're just smart in what they have to
their instincts. I mean, they're not smart, but their instincts protect them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like literally, bull moose are just giant longbeards. You call them in, like they're 1,200-pound turkeys.
They live longer. You look at how many bulls. I was looking at the ages this year, of course. And there's a lot of teenage moose, shot this year. It takes a tough animal to live 13 plus years in the Maine woods. Like, that is a tough, and I don't care. That's a tough and smart animal to live that long.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't do that and be dumb. They're just smart in what they have to be smart in. Like you said, instinctually, they're smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was fortunate because it worked out. I got to go help Brian out a little bit, and then be there with you guys that morning. And you were with Dad that morning, but it sucks too because I ended up. Remember, I had there was a urine pit right there where where that bull was probably coming out to you guys at, and I had a camera on it. Remember?
Yeah, we were a little past that, but yeah.
Yeah, the stupid camera was off. Yeah, but I bet if that was his urine pit, I bet he at least went up and checked it. I bet that night.
Oh, what you're saying for pictures? Yeah. I'm sure if that camera was working, you'd have had
pictures of him.
Probably daylight too.
Great.
Probably first. Yeah. I mean, we weren't far behind him first thing in the morning, but he didn't go anywhere. There was a cow, and the funny thing is we never heard a cow. I still to this day have not heard a cow moan.
Dude, you should have.
I hunted with Lee Schanz for a week, and I never heard a cow moan, even that day. And she was there.
If you've heard Dad, you've heard a cow moan anyway.
Well, right. But a real cow.
Yeah.
And, we didn't really get into moose until Thursday anyways, but just because of the weather. But, yeah, it was crazy. And
you guys had a good day. You guys had Wednesday, too. Yeah, you guys.
No, Wednesday was the hurricane.
Yeah, but didn't that. Oh, I guess it was
Thursday. He called in that that borderline 50-incher that I could have shot with a bow 12 times, and I got really good footage of.
Yeah, beautiful. It was beautiful footage.
Yeah. he let that one walk, and
Dude, you should have been with me and Timmy Monday morning of that first Monday, September this past. Dude, we literally didn't not. There was just moose talking all Monday morning.
Yeah, I didn't get to experience any of that.
Yeah,
I never heard.
Terrible weather.
I never heard a no. The Thursday bull grunted back. He was pretty vocal, but never heard a cow. Still to this day, never heard a cow. Guess I'll have to get out there this fall with you.
I'm all about it, man. All about it. Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, because just all the stars aligned. So like you got your client a smasher.
Yeah, I went help Brian pack his.
You were able to go help Brian out.
Yeah.
What was his bull?
Got there. What's that?
What was his bull?
We packed it out, so I don't know how much it weighed. I can't remember. It was like a 50-inch. It was the equivalent of 50-inch bull. He had big, beautiful long points, beautiful palms. Just gorgeous. Brian's no slouch, man. I mean, he passed on bulls, all week.
Yeah.
Brian had a lot better week than I did as far as amount of bulls he saw. Brian had a great week. But yeah, his bull was no slouch, man. But Brian wouldn't have shot a slouch of a bull. And so I helped pack. And like I said, I didn't really help pack that. By the time I got there, Brian was pretty much done. I just walked out of the woods with him with the head.
Yeah.
And then
we got there before we stopped a ways before the bridge was out.
Yeah, I think we reached each other. I think we reached each other, and Dad's like, "Hey, be here this time in the morning." I showed up that next morning with you guys.
Yeah, or Chris said, like,
because I had another
Dad
camera.
wants you here.
Yeah, I had another camera on the road before the bridge too. So I went down, I collected that camera.
Yep.
I met up with you guys, and I collected the camera there at the urine pit. And Dad's like, "Hey, just hang back and bull grunt a little bit and rake the branches a little bit. Just kind of sound like some competition in the area." And how long was I? I don't know how long it was. You guys just left. I mean, it couldn't have been 20 minutes, half hour.
Yeah, half hour. I'm saying because coincidentally, that was Amy's birthday. He shot that bull. So I texted her on the inReach. I said like, "Happy birthday, I love you," or whatever. And then just, how the inReach has like a delay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So when we were walking down the road, like we were walking down calling every like 100 yards, I was texting her that. And then she said she got them back to back. She got "Happy birthday, I love you," and then BBD, "I'll be home tomorrow."
Nice. Yeah.
But like it was, from where we left you in the dark, so it was probably like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You headed down the other way, down the road, and then we walked up across where the bridge was pulled, and then started calling there.
Yeah.
And he didn't make a sound. We walked, or Lee was ahead, and he walked around the corner, and he started crouching down, and he like is waving us up, or to me, or whoever. And I walked around the corner, and that he's just standing there, and I'm so used to deer,
right?
Like running immediately. Like I bought that monopod so I could just drop the leg down and have a steady shot. I never thought of any of that. I'm just like, Lee, shoot. He's like, "I don't know, Chris, what do you think?" Like,
yeah,
dude, it's Friday.
He does
That's
that,
a giant bull. Like, shoot that. He's like, "Okay." And he shoots it, and I went and flinched like an idiot. But
it happened. It was still good footage, man. It made it look more realistic, dude.
Yeah. That 35 whale will make you flinch whether you're shooting it or hearing it.
Oh yeah, man. It sounded like it was right beside me. He shot, and I was like, "All right, I'm running. I don't care."
So at that point, how close were you? Were you across the bridge, or where the culvert was pulled?
Yeah. I met up with you guys because I checked the camera with you guys at the urine pit. Remember?
Oh, did you? I thought you were.
Nope, I checked the camera with you guys.
Oh yeah. Then you stayed back. You stayed back to call. Stayed back to rake brush and stuff. All right. Yeah. I remember now. Yeah.
So I checked that camera, and then I left, and then you guys went forward. Well, I stayed where that camera was, and I raked brush a little bit.
Yeah. So in the dark, you dropped down to grab a camera.
Yep.
And then you met back up with us
like, right at,
in the daylight. Yep. Okay. Yep. It's coming back to me now, Stephen.
Yeah. And then I checked that camera again, and And then I was like, oh, and then I felt like an idiot because it wasn't on, or the SD card didn't sync or something. Some random stupid typical thing, you know, that happens with trail cameras when you're in a hurry, or, you know, you're focused on hunting and not doing camera stuff. And then, he shot 2 times, and I ran up and I caught up to him, and oh, what a beautiful bull. I can still remember him laying down in there and that palm sticking out.
Yeah.
He had the darkest, most beautiful chocolate palms.
Yeah.
What a beautiful bull. Yep.
Yeah. When's he going to get that back from the tax?
Oh, he's got it back, man.
Oh, he has?
Oh, yeah. He's got that back already. We hung that. Boy, that was a son of a, because he got a shoulder mount. That thing was a son of a gun to hang. But yeah, he got that back from Dick. This summer.
Yeah.
Yep. Or hung that. We just hung his Alaskan one this past week. We got all the Big Woods guys are coming up because I got the Sportsman Show in Augusta.
Yeah.
This weekend. So, or we got one in Augusta, and then we have a bunch of the guys going down, like Nick, Timmy, and Neil are going down to the one in New Hampshire there.
Right. Yeah.
But we hung a bunch of the stuff for Dad this week. He got the camp ready for the guys. I think Mom said there's 8 people staying in the camp for the Augusta show this week. So
yeah,
got it all spruced up. But yeah, it came back. Oh, it's gorgeous, man. Yeah, it came out really nice. Yeah, he looks beautiful in camp, man. You think those animals look big, man, when you're out in the wild. Stick a shoulder mount of that guy.
Yeah.
In a building makes him. He takes up he takes up a half a cathedral ceiling by himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's 4 on the wall now.
Mine, Dad's, both mine and Dad's are shoulder mounts. Then we have Grandpa's from 3 years ago is up in the peak. That was a nice picture. And then his Alaskan one is on the opposite peak. His other booner.
I got to do like Big Woods Bucks Cribs.
Yeah.
Series. Like the dudes from Exodus Trail Cameras do, whitetail cribs.
Yeah. Yep.
Just with moose.
Yeah.
Because that's that camp's cool. He was showing me that one.
Yeah, we did we fixed the opposite side of the peak of the cathedral ceiling, so we ended up putting the moose up and 4 deer heads, including that 237 pounder I shot at when I was a kid I told you about earlier.
Yeah.
And a few other ones up in the peak, a few just skull cap mounts, and then my grandfather shot a beautiful bear in Cornville years ago. We hung that too up there, so hung a whole bunch of game the other day. Yep.
That's awesome, man. How far away do you live from your pops?
Depends on how fast I'm driving. 15 minutes. About 15 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, no shit. All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm real close. I'm probably going to go see the guys. I think I'm going to cut some firewood and hang out to take care of the boys, cut some firewood tomorrow. I don't think I'll make the show tomorrow. But when the guys get back, I'll probably drive over to Mom and Dad's, have dinner with them and stuff tomorrow night and catch up with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. I'll get over there and talk deer a little bit, and probably talk turkeys. You know, the thaw is it's pretty thawed out up here right now. I mean, turkeys are out strutting pretty heavy up here in Maine.
Yeah, we've had snow out for quite a while now. With the ticks are thick right now.
Yeah, I'm right at that line where they don't usually. I still spray with permethrin, but you know. As long as you're careful, you won't don't have to deal with them too bad. But
I went out the other day after work and pulled. I think I didn't really count. I'm just kind of guessing, but probably around 30.
Yeah, that's man, I can't imagine.
Off me.
I've dealt with it, man. I've dealt with it down south training and stuff. You know, it's just
it's just like give it 10 years and it'll be that way up where you are. They're marching north.
Oh, yeah. They won't stop either.
And there's nothing you can, I mean, like, I don't know, like, I'm just a dumb redneck from Dummerston, Vermont, but like, there's nothing you can really do. Like, you can't just, like, crop dust the whole woods to kill the ticks because you're going to kill everything else.
Yeah.
It's not healthy for the ecosystem, and the only thing we can do is protect ourselves.
You know, it's funny, because I always said that, because I was like, because people are like, oh, they don't really eat ticks because they're too small. But
turkeys?
Yeah.
Turkeys absolutely eat ticks.
Yeah. Well, because I said there's no way. But my problem is
every bird eats ticks.
yeah.
Every
But my
bird eats
problem
all
is,
bugs.
they
That's
coincided
what they
too
eat.
closely with each other. The turkeys and the ticks. I was because pretty much the first year I saw a turkey in Cornville was the first year I saw a tick in Cornville. I mean, it was almost to the year, and then it's just like they progress with each other, like up the
Yeah.
state. And somebody said, and again, like you said, I'm just a dumb redneck too. I don't know any better. But the turkeys eat some of the insects that eat ticks, and they said
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
And the
absolutely.
too, they carry the, they're carrying them, a lot of it, because there's really not a lot of animals that migrate the way turkeys do. Um, obviously our deer up north do, but like, if a deer is born like behind my folks in Cornville, he's gonna live his whole life there. He's really not gonna migrate,
Mm-hmm.
north. So
Well, kind of also, the turkeys are getting the brunt of the blame for eating the insects that eat ticks. But
right.
blue jays, silver jays,
Oh yeah,
crows, all those
yeah.
birds are also doing that. Just the
I'm
turkeys
just
are getting the the blame.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying it's a pretty big coincidence, is all I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying.
yeah. No, again, like
Yeah.
we're not gonna, and I don't even think biologists know.
Yeah, they're out of control. It's crazy. So are our turkeys. You can shoot 7 birds in Maine this year, man.
Yeah, I
You,
heard that.
you can shoot
Maybe
2 in the.
no,
You can
yeah,
shoot 2 in the.
it was from you. But that's
Yeah,
like
you can shoot 2 in the
holy
spring.
shit.
You can shoot 2 in the spring, and I think those 2 have to be males. But then you can shoot 5 in the fall now. It's crazy, and those can be any sex.
Now, do you know the reasoning behind that? Is it population
They're out of
control,
control.
or are they
Yeah,
concerned about
I think
because
they're out of control. I really do.
because
Yeah.
I'm we have a very 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 healthy, you could probably call it overpopulated turkey population, and yeah, we're still
Yeah.
New Hampshire just went to you can use your fall tag in the spring if you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Vermont is 2 in the spring, have to be male, and then either sex in the fall.
Yeah. You can shoot any sex in the fall. And see, my thing is, if it was population control, I don't know why they have it. You can only shoot 2 a day. You can only shoot 2 birds. You can shoot 5 in the fall, but you can only shoot 2 a day. So I'm not really sure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just might be monitoring thing, like
Maybe,
just trying to
yeah.
monitor people.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's yeah, I mean, I can look it up again to check, right, because because I've been preaching that to, because the clients will come up here. Like I said, you got those boys down in Ohio. We were just talking about this earlier. I always thought, because I'm a Maine boy, like I always thought there was way more birds down south. There's nothing for birds down there. Like you get one bird. Some of those states are a draw. Some of those states, stones are a draw. You can't even just shoot a bird. And I'm like, well, and everybody wants to hunt turkeys. I'm gonna go down there with more of an intent, I think, to sell turkey hunts next. Bear hunts obviously is my, what I'm selling, but I could sell turkey hunts down there. I think I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like for people down south to come kill a longbeard in Maine, like you're not going to get a prettier hunt.
Yeah.
It's just, especially up where you are, it's just scenic wherever.
Yep.
You're looking at mountain ranges and off in the distance everywhere.
2 bearded wild turkeys in the spring season and up to 5 wild turkeys of either sex in the fall season. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
So yeah, so I tell that client, well, what can we because we pretty much just stand, we'll hound hunt in the mornings and the afternoons, but pretty much just stand hunt in the afternoons and the evenings. Like, well, what is there to do in the mornings? And I was like, you guys can come up and shoot a half a dozen turkeys if you want.
Half a dozen. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, definitely it's got to be one of the most successful integrations of a species to an animal ever. I mean, they've just in the past 20, they've gone from none in 20 years to overpopulated.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wouldn't have thought that was the case up your way. Although when I was up there, I mean, it looks like really good turkey habitat. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
Yep.
just kind of rolling hills and
Oh yeah. I got turkeys
a
at
lot of
roost right
farm
now.
country and
Yeah.
some. I mean, really, all they need is some roosting trees and some water and some fields. And they're
Yeah.
pretty content.
Yeah. There's pretty good, they don't need the acorns, like people think they do,
Yeah, no.
they can live off, they can live off pretty much anything for a bud, same as a deer. Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess before we wrap this up, Steven, let's talk about your. You just had Is it your first video out on Big Woods Bucks?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it is. I have, I shared like I was the one that filmed Rogers buck, from his hunt last year. That one pretty viral on Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
at,
yeah.
I'm at like 4 million views on that on Facebook. I think.
Yeah.
I get random people harassing I still get different likes and comments and on that every day from and that was like 2 years ago from that hunt. But
What are they
it's
harassing about?
Oh, dude, so I never bother to block like the anti hunters or stuff like that.
Antis. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
even
doesn't
if
count.
yeah, and sometimes and every once in a while I'll see comments come across and it'll be like guys like defending it and stuff like that. I leave all of it up there because I figure every time you comment on somebody's thing, it pops up. It's more likely to pop up as somebody else's. It's that old adage, any publicity's good publicity, and that's pretty much where it's at. As long as they're not like being disrespectful to like other people on my Facebook page, I don't stress about it. But yeah, that video went viral on Facebook, and it did okay on YouTube too, but went viral on Facebook. Yep. So, but yeah, I think this last deer hunt I have, and it has actually, like I said, it has that bull I called in with Timmy too. So I mean, it has a lot of good footage. There's some deer hunting in there, a little bit of moose, some snowmobiling in there.
Yep.
Probably
Yep. You and your old man going. You're back at camp and you're like, I don't know. It was like after midnight or something.
Well, we weren't back to camp then, but it's like a 3.5, 4 hour. Well, especially when the weather's bad, it's like a 4 hour drive up to where I shot that deer.
You're like, we can wait.
Like, yeah, I was like, there's no way.
Pause. Like, let's just go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you sent it.
But and I was
long night.
If it had just been just me, I would have gone too, but I didn't want because I knew Dad had been hunting hard all day, and I didn't want him to feel up, but to come up and
you were making the excuse because you didn't want to go. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I would have been perfectly fine because like I shot that deer first thing. Thursday's Thanksgiving. I drove up through the night Thursday night after Thanksgiving. I put the boys down to bed. I looked, at checked the radar one more time. I was like, yeah, it's definitely going to be snow up. So I do most of my scouting I spend a lot of time, I spend some time in the spring in the woods, but, I'm in the woods, like I said, I bait, we're going to be baiting in August, but September and October, I'm in the woods, bear hunting and moose hunting. So I do most of my scouting, early fall. And I found some real good spots when I was up there during moose season. And I could see there was a beautiful snow belt going through there. And we got pounded with snow up there. So I put the boys down Thursday night after Thanksgiving and jumped in, threw a sleeping bag and sleep system on the floor in the back of the truck and jumped in the truck and headed north. And yeah, I did all right that night. I probably got up there like 1 o'clock or something like that. Got like a few hours of sleep, woke up and walked in the woods, and them deer don't like moving during that first snow. Them deer don't really like moving. They don't like making track. They don't like moving in a blizzard anyway. They just, it'd be just like me and you, I think, up in a blizzard. We ain't gonna walk around in it. We're gonna wait for it to subside. I didn't really cut too much for tracks, but boy, I found some beautiful buck sign. But I got snowed out of my spot, actually. I woke up the next morning and I got snowed out of my spot. I was like, I better head back a little bit towards civilization or I'm going to get snowed in up here and stuck. I didn't feel like walking 10 miles back to a road and trying to, flag down a trucker. So I drove back a little ways, closer to civilization and hopped out of the truck. And I was really only in the woods that morning. I was only in the woods for hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, and shot that deer. So I was pretty fresh that day, but I knew Dad had a long day. I knew Dad had a long day in the woods. So yeah, yeah. I think I hopped on that track because I drove back out. I probably hopped on that track about 7:30, and I don't think I was on that track maybe 20, 25 minutes when I jumped him out of his bed. And I saw him go quick, but I mean, I got a good look at him. I could tell it was the buck I was on. I'd actually stepped over his track when I first found it because it was all blowed in and snowed in, but it was heading down towards where I was going to circle back anyway. So I kept walking up the road to see if he cut back across the road, and I'd freshen him up that way, or see if I could find just a fresher track. And so when I cut back and looped that down around along the brook, down where I called that bull in, that's on the video, I cut his track, and so I just followed it. I was like, well, I'm just gonna, you're never gonna track a deer if you don't jump on a track. And I knew it couldn't have been too old. I had to have been made that morning anyway. And I figured it was a buck because it was snowed in, but it wasn't. It had a nice long stride, and it was all by itself. And I could tell by the stride. I was like, yeah, it's got to be a decent buck. So I hopped on him, and as soon as he got into the fur zone, where it wasn't, it was snowed in, I could see it was a decent track, and I tracked him right to his bed. I was taking my gloves off, man. Like it was cold that morning, windy and blustery. So I was taking my gloves off and tucking my gloves into my jacket when that buck jumped up and ran off. So I blew at him hard, trying to get him stopped, before he got out of sight. But he kind of scampered out of sight. But I got my grunt tube out and grunted once, and there was a big cut pretty much where that bull had come in that I'd called in with Timmy. There was a big cut right there at the edge of that. And I was like, well, if I hurry, I bet I can catch him either crossing that cut, or maybe he'll stop out on the other side of it and look back across, and I'll just reach out and touch him across the cut. So I was like running up to this cut, figuring, he was at least at that cut or past it. But my blowing and my grunting must have convinced him that he should stick around and see what I was, because I just broke through the trees where I'd seen him last. And I could just see the outline of him in the brush. So I got my gun up on him, and I should have got my phone out. I could have shot this deer one-handed. I should have got my phone out and filmed him, with one hand and shot him with the other. But I was kind of waiting for him to run off, because we're right beside each other. And I couldn't shoot through the brush, but there was good openings on both sides. So well, whichever side he goes on, I'm going to dump him as soon as he breaks out of that brush to run off. But he started peeking out around that brush at me. And when he did that, I just put it right. He was right beside me. I put it right in the middle of his neck and dropped him right there. So
no
easy
kidding.
day. Yeah, easy day. But that was like a mile and a half in the truck. And I'm like, I was like, well, I ain't gonna. Hindsight's 20/20. I knew he wasn't probably 200 pounds. I was a little excited, but I was like, I didn't think he was 200 pounds. I should have just cut him up and packed him out like I would a moose. I could have done that in an hour and a half or 2 hours, That's what I honestly should have done. I even had my pack frame in the truck, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done. But
what did he end up weighing?
He only weighed 165. I think even, it was the last day of rifle season, but
Right.
even at his best, wasn't a 200 pounder.
Right.
Probably, he was a 3.5-year-old, but I don't, he was long, but he was skinny. He wouldn't, it might have been a 180, 185, at his best. But pretty rack though, pretty nice little 8-point rack. I could see he was outside. I never really got a good look at his body. He started peeking his head out around that tree, and I could see he had a nice rack outside his ears, and I was like, yep, well, can't beat this shot. So
yeah, I was in the truck with Timmy. I think we were on our way back to camp. I don't know when it got posted, but when we saw it, we got back into service. Timmy's like, "Oh, Stephen got one." I saw it. I was like, that's a good one.
Yeah, I texted Timmy that day when I was driving out, actually, because I was like, bro, you're never going to believe this. I said, that road that you dragged that buck out on? I was like, I'm going to drag one out on that road tonight. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was like, I shot it. I was like, bro, he's 100 yards from where we called that bowling. Yeah.
That is awesome.
It was a lot of deer in there. I had a lot of deer. I had a camera in there, and I had a lot of pictures of nice bulls too. But I had a lot of pictures of those, no bucks, but I had a lot of pictures of does and lambs in there. Yeah, yeah.
That is awesome.
So it's pretty lucky. Like I said, it worked out good because that way I could, you know, finished off my hunt season early. Gave me a chance to settle down, and ended up going to Mass this year for the first time and checking that out because I mean, like I said, I didn't carry a rifle, but a day, and I was like, yeah, I need to hunt some deer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I went back to New Hampshire with my Woodsman Arms and hunted there. Not New Hampshire, but Massachusetts, and had a real good time hunting there for we only had snow for like a day and a half, but hunted there for like a day and a half and had another really successful hunt there. So yeah, I'm excited to.
How do you like that Woodman? Let's plug that real quick.
Oh shoot! I mean, I don't have another firearm that's as nice to carry as that.
Exactly.
I'd rather carry that in the woods than anything else.
I've heard a lot of people say if this gun shot more than one round, I wouldn't own anything else.
Yeah, that's what I hunt with, man. Oh,
Yeah.
And it's accurate. I couldn't believe, man. I sighted mine in this spring. I couldn't believe how fast and accurate it was for me.
That trigger is just crisp.
It's great. Yeah, and it's so much that of course, that blackcorn powder and those those shotgun primers. I mean, they just fire and burn so much more consistent that it just there's no variation. I had that thing sighted in, man, like 4 shots. No problem.
Yep.
I mean, sighted in well, very confident, inside of 200 yards.
Yeah. And it's crazy that you can have a muzzleloader that you can like literally hold on target at 200 yards.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. You must be shooting the 45 cal too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the way to go, man.
Yep. I've had a lot of people contact me about them. Mainly like, how can I get one faster than 12 weeks? You got an in with Woodman, right? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I know, Mark.
You want one faster than that, you're gonna have to buy
I don't have an in with him. It's first come, first serve. But I've had a lot of people, they want the 50 cal and they want this, they want to make that gun what they used to shoot because they have the loads for it. And I'm like, listen, forget what you know. Listen to Mark. He's the one who made them. That's the way I figured. Like, he told me, start at a 225 grain bullet, 100 grains of blackhorn, start there. So why would I, question the doctor? If you're going to go in for surgery, you're not like, no, I think I should have this. Like, nope, you're going to listen to the doctor. So I always figured that, and my gun shoots very great groups with the 225 grain bullet and 100 grains of blackhorn.
Yep.
I do want to do some tinkering. I want to up the grains and try weighing powder and all that, when I have time down the road, and maybe I'll find a load that works better. But for now, I mean, shit.
Well, that's the thing.
We're shooting good.
So, with a lot of your former muzzleloaders, it's like, so, and I say the same thing about rifles, man, is you have all these guys out here that are like, oh, I need to load my rounds just right and have just the right optic and just the right. And it's like 90% of rifles on the market today can outshoot 90% of shooters. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that Woodsman muzzleloader, man, can outshoot 90% of shooters in the woods. Like, I understand people think, everybody's like, oh, I want a gun that can shoot 300 yards. 90% of people can't shoot consistently well they can turn off.
You have to have such a controlled shot process.
Yeah.
Like
the variation for your round isn't your, shouldn't be the concern for you the way it is for people. I'd worry more about like what the bullet does when it hits the deer. You know what I mean? Like that means a lot to me. But I mean how many times are you going to shoot at a deer at 200 yards with a peep sight, So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But.
And I mean, in the military and stuff, we shoot, 500, 600 yards, every year. but it's a completely different scenario. I mean, scenario. It's not like, and even then, I would never shoot at a deer that far,
Yeah.
so.
That's a crazy yardage. Do they still make you do it with open sights?
No, no, no.
No, that changed.
Yeah, not to age myself, man, but I saw all that come and go. When I was in boot camp, I shot with iron sights. And then I think the very first time I qualified after boot, I think we had ACOGs.
Okay. Yep.
So then at that point, it's just Kentucky. I mean, they have the variables right there in the ACOG itself. So it's all pretty much Kentucky windage. But yeah, I called my first time in boot camp with iron sights. Back then it was 600 yards. Now it's 550 meters. But
yeah. So what do they give you? So you're shooting 600 yards. What's your
or 500 yards, and now it's 550 meters. I mean, you used to shoot 500 yards. Now you're shooting 550 meters. But
you're shooting at what target, and what's your fail point?
You're shooting at it's an able target. It's pretty much like a human silhouette, but it is a little bit bigger. And you get it's a points system. But I mean, you get 10 rounds in the prone, and I think I can't remember how long the period you have to shoot is. I do it every year, but I mean, it's I data dump it pretty fast because I just do it when I get there. I never use up all the time anyway. I usually shoot it up pretty fast, but you get 10 rounds in the prone at 500 yards or 550 meters, and I usually shoot. That's honestly, I shoot better there than I do. Usually, my 300 set is usually my weakness. Yeah.
So is it if you don't hit the silhouette, it's a fail?
So you get a certain amount of points if you hit the silhouette, and then there's a ring outside the silhouette that you get. I think it's 2 points, 1 point, and then outside of that, it's 0. So.
Okay.
But. Yep.
And then for someone like you, that's just to like make sure you're up to snuff, or does that actually affect?
Every Marine has to do that. Every Marine has to do that rifle call. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So.
What's the is it an AR platform?
Yeah. Yep. They actually just changed it up now. It's it's still an 8, but it's your M27.
Okay.
Makes M27 for you now. And it's just a different gas operation system is all it is. But yeah, originally it was all, M4, M16.
Yep. That sounds like fun. I mean,
Dude,
not under that scenario, I guess, but just to do it like
go to the rifle range
in a farmer's field or something,
Yeah. It's a good. Yeah, I enjoy the rifle range. There's low stress because it's all the base your promotion. That's part of your promotion in the Marine Corps is actually based off your rifle score. So it's a low stress environment, man. You just go out there and you shoot. It's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the better parts of the Marine Corps, I suppose. But.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen some things that most wouldn't want to see, but we appreciate your service and.
Oh yeah, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we'll wrap this one up, and if anybody wants to get a hold of you to maybe book some spring bear hunts, what's the best place to do that?
All fall. Maine's all fall bear hunts. Yep. So that's what.
Or fall. Fall. Sorry.
Yeah.
Get a hold of you this spring to book fall bear hunts.
Yeah. Well, you can't. You have to book for next year. We're all booked out. We booked out in Indianapolis. Actually, we didn't even have bookings for Columbus. If you wanna book, look us up on Schanz's Guide Service on Facebook or Instagram's fine, or our website schanzsguideservice.com, and then or just look me up. Look up my personal profile, Stephen Schanz on Facebook, and that'll have pretty sure my Facebook profile has all the info to link you up to all my business sites. So if you're looking for a bear hunt, if you're looking for information on applying for your moose permit, I tell everybody, even if you're not going to go, with Schanz's Guide Service, if you want to do a Maine moose hunt, you really should figure out who your guide's going to be and talk to him about, what zones to apply for and stuff like that. Especially if you have if you want to come to bow hunt. I recommend if guys want to bow hunt. I recommend doing the September season over the October season. Our success rate's a little bit better in September, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't lower your chances by putting in for September only. you know. But if you want to shoot one with a bow, I highly recommend, because it's easy. It's easier for me to get them in, close.
Yeah, it's kind of peak of the rut.
Yeah, during that rut season. I don't think I've ever got a bull in September that was outside of 50 yards, and that's I don't think I've ever got a bull in September that was outside of 50 yards. And most every one of them was bow range. I don't think I've got a bull in September that I couldn't have got with a bow, honestly. But then October, sometimes you get you're catching them in those feeding areas, or they're not coming in hot for the cow breed, and a lot of times they're coming in for the social interaction, so just
Right.
a different dynamic. I don't think, like I said, I don't think the success rate is different enough that I would just put in for the September over the October. But if that's what I'm saying, just figure out who your guide is, talk to your guide, and figure out, even if it's not going to be with us, whoever you guys are going to go with. If you guys are looking for, if you guys don't want to go with us too, I'd always be more than happy to recommend some other guys that we work with that are, I can definitely point them in the direction for some quality hunts and some quality outfitters. So.
Yeah. And it kind of seems, a little bit like, when you talk about this stuff, you're kind of trying to plug, your own. But, I mean, the Maine Moose Lottery is potentially once in a lifetime, or could be not in a lifetime at all. You might never get drawn. If you do get drawn, you better take advantage of it. I mean, you want, hire a guide, especially if you're not, if you're from, Virginia, and you apply, I want to shoot a Maine Moose, and you get drawn, get a guide. I mean, you are upping your chances 100-fold.
My thing is, man, you can't go on a hunt. That's why the lottery system's so hard. You can't go on a hunt like our Maine Moose hunt in the lower 48 for the money that we're charging.
No, absolutely not.
It's really is the best hunt that you can go on.
The only thing you're comparable to is Alaska, and you're talking 20 G's for an Alaska hunt.
And I mean, I would love to go out. They have some combo hunts out west, that would be great. You got some elk and black bear combo hunts, stuff like that, or elk and muley combo hunts. There's some combo hunts maybe that are pretty comparable, but their success rate's not going to be what I mean. I have 100% success rate on shot opportunities in the zones that we recommend. I have 100% opportunity rate. You can't have that kind of success rate, for the price that we're charging for the Maine Moose hunt. The competition is just really high for guys, is what for outfit.
Absolutely.
You can't have that kind of, and I'm not saying across the board, but for me as a guide, I've had 100% shot opportunity in the zones that I recommend.
Yep.
I guided in zone 17 one year, and I had a great big beautiful bull went across the road in front of us, and we worked him that morning. But that's why I don't guide 17 anymore. It's a tough zone, and I'm not going to charge the kind of money I am to that we do to have a tough hunt. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and really in the world, you can't. It's the best hunt you can go on the lower 48, in my opinion. But in the world, it's the best hunt you can go on for the money. You can go on other hunts that are better than our Maine Moose hunt, but you're going to chart, you're going to do, even a do it yourself is going to cost, and Alaska's going to cost you 10 to 15,
Yep, absolutely.
But
yeah, so do your research and get a guide.
Yeah, you don't want to go out with us. Yeah, just figure out who your guide's going to be. Reach out to him, be like, hey, what zone should I put in for? And
I'll tell you right now, though, you don't need to look too much farther than Schanz's Guide Service or Bigwoods Outfitters. I mean, these guys are top notch, no joke. There's no frills, they've just been doing it for a long time. They know how to run a camp. They know what everybody needs. It's definitely consider one of these two outfits for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we just been doing it a long time, man. It's a good time. It's a fun time, and Yeah, it's all in the success rates and everything. You know, if you, like I said, just give us a follow if it doesn't look like the kind of hunt that you guys want to do, or if it doesn't look like I don't know. I'm just saying, just try.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be humble and just try to educate people as far as, hey, even if you don't want to go with us, just don't waste your opportunity. I mean, it really is the hunt of a lifetime. Don't waste that opportunity on.
Don't get drawn for a Maine moose tag and think you're gonna roll up there. I mean, you might learn how to. I mean, there's probably some really experienced
People do it every day. People do it
elk hunters out west that know the big terrain and can learn how to call and could probably do it on their own. But if you don't think you can do it, highly consider hiring a guide, because this might be your only chance in your life you're gonna have this opportunity, and it's only 6 days.
Yeah.
And
I probably scared some people when I said, I walked, like we had that Friday, I got the bull this year, I went 21 miles, on my feet, but that's not a normal thing. And two, it was only because the clients were capable of doing that. And he had you see the bull I call in my video is a beautiful bull. Like most people would have taken that, but Travis had a very, him and Justin were great, really great deer hunter from, I think they both live in New Hampshire actually. And, or Vermont. But they're both, really competent hunters, really good shape, so, and we passed on a lot of bulls that week. He had a very specific bull he was looking for. So that, that's how hard we had to work to get him the bull that he wanted. But, that's not a normal thing by any means either. So it's a really, like I said, I enjoy hunting deer. I enjoy guide moose. It's a low impact hunt. It's not a difficult hunt. The weather's beautiful. It's great experience. Yep.
Yeah, it was a good time for sure. Even though Harold's tent leaked.
Yeah. I stayed in there a couple of nights, I think. I can't remember why.
Yeah, you were in there Thursday night.
Yeah.
Or no, you were in there Wednesday night. I don't remember.
Right. I slept in there Wednesday.
Couple nights.
No, right. No, it was Thursday night. It was Friday night. After you guys got the bull, I stayed there.
Right. Yep.
I stayed there in camp, and you guys headed back. Yep.
But all right, Stephen. Well, I appreciate you jumping on and talking with me. And
anytime. Great talking to you, man. I can talk. Yeah, especially this time of year. I get start jonesing for being in the woods. Pretty bad.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of shows just talking about it. So
yeah, it's fun just to be able to talk to it. Kind of gets me all excited for it.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk. We'll be able to talk in a couple months to talk about the birds we got.
Yeah, we'll be talking between there anyway. So
sounds good, man.
All right, dude. I appreciate you, and good luck this spring. Get some turkey birds down.
I can't wait. I'll send you pictures. You send me some, all right?
All right, buddy.
All right, later, bro.
Bye. Hey, thanks for tuning into this week's episode. Make sure and come back and join us every other Monday with a brand new episode. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure and leave a review. And you can find me on YouTube at Northeast Hunt and Film. Once again, thanks for listening.